Carlos, as a fake cop on Reno 911, what did you think of the real cop's testimony yesterday?
I thought it was emotionally charged. I thought it was deeply moving, but I didn't want to watch it like McCarthy and everybody else. I had stuff to do. You know, I had to put my Legos together. Sure. I had really important stuff. I just couldn't be. I had to just watch it over in the highlights. I had to wash socks. Yes. I had to. Yes. I was really busy with important stuff.
Concerned about.
But I support them.
I'm concerned about my own anger issues between January 6th and I had to ask Dr. Wendy Walsh yesterday. We had her on. How do you deal with this? What the New York Times piece was about, Chris? The amount of anger we have. You know, because it's so personal, Carlos, to all of us. You know,
it's very personal.
These. So the CDC has had to, let's just cover what happened. New mask guidance for vaccinated Americans. I had a feeling we were going here. Someone was like, I kept my mask because I knew we were going to put this up. Yeah. Like it felt too soon to me when they said it. I get it. That was, you know why, Chris? That was a carrot. It was here's a carrot. Hello, look, you can take your mask off if you get vaccinated. Carrots don't work. We are at stick time, man.
It worked for some people.
Right.
I mean, it boosted vaccinations for a little bit there.
They said in areas with substantial and high transmission, CDC recommends fully vaccinated people wear masks in public indoor settings to help prevent the spread of the Delta variant and protect others. This includes schools. CDC recommends everyone in K through 12 wear a mask indoors, including teachers, staff, students, visitors, regardless of vaccination status. She said children should return to full-time in-person learning with proper mitigation in place. The most important thing, once again, she said, is to get more people vaccinated. Biden, the president yesterday said mandating vaccine for all federal employees is under consideration.
Yep.
He said that's under consideration, but if you're not vaccinated, you're not nearly as smart as I thought you were. Mm-hmm. He said the more we learn about this virus and the Delta variation, the more we have to be worried and concerned. The one thing we know for sure, if those other 100 million people got vaccinated, we would be in a very different world. So go ahead, Carlos.
My analogy is, because the counter argument is like, we've tried this for a year and a half with vaccines and masks, and it doesn't work. Yeah, we can't fill the bucket up with water because you punctured a giant hole in it. We're never going to be able to fill up the bucket of water, and that is our goal. If you keep puncturing a hole in it with your insane lack of logic.
Yeah.
Get vaccinated, wear a mask. That's it. Two things.
I wish we were going the way of France. I keep mentioning this as France's parliament approved a law requiring special virus passes for all restaurants and domestic travel and mandating vaccinations for all health workers. Both measures prompted protests and political tensions. Macron and his government say they are needed to protect vulnerable populations and hospitals as infections rebound to avoid new lockdowns. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yes.
The law requires all workers in the healthcare sector start getting vaccinated by September 15th. This is in France. It also requires a health pass to enter all restaurants, trains, planes, other public venues. It initially applies to all adults, but will apply to everyone 12 and older starting September 30th. To get the pass, people must have proof they are fully vaccinated, recently tested negative, or recently recovered from the virus. I mean, Carlos,
it is not a freedom issue.
Yeah.
As I stated, Stephanie.
Yes, Dr. Fauci.
With that dolt with the bad hair, this is not a freedom issue. This is a public health issue. Get vaccinated, you dolts.
But here's the problem. These two stories, Travis, right, that you said, tell us exactly where we are in America. Hundreds of San Francisco bars to require vaccination or a negative test to drink indoors, right?
Yes.
They require proof of vaccination or negative if you want to drink inside in businesses, prompted by the recent increase in cases among fully vaccinated bar workers there. Will go in effect this Thursday. We believe we're obligated to protect our workers and their families and to offer a safe space for customers to relax and socialize. And this one, anti-mask Huntington Beach restaurant says it will only serve unvaccinated diners. It continues with its campaign of non-compliance with state safety recommendations. It recently posted a sign saying it will be asking diners for proof of being unvaccinated. Let's talk about how stupid that is on how many levels. It's the latest in a series of defiant actions from the restaurant, which started with an anti-masking campaign in 2020, where the restaurant asked customers to remove masks when they were inside the restaurant. I mean,
you know what, though, Stephanie? if Simone Biles would have stayed in the Olympics, okay, instead of being weak and won a gold for us, everybody would have been vaccinated. This COVID would be over. There would be no voter suppression laws. People would stand up to Donald Trump, and I blame it all on Simone Biles, who is weak. Now,
you okay?
I got to go get my non-vaccination card and head out to Huntington.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right. Okay. That was a little skit by Carlos.
Yay.
That was no extra charge for that. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't watch the cops yesterday. I was too busy blaming Simone Biles for my 30 seconds of
Carlos, I mean, vaccination numbers are inching up. And I don't know whether, you've seen a lot of these heartbreaking stories or, or people that were
They're not heartbreaking because they have no hearts.
Well, a South Florida teenager is in a medically induced coma. She's been placed on a ventilator after being diagnosed with COVID. She's 15. She reportedly planned to get vaccinated but hadn't received her first shot yet. Her brother said, I want to tell people this virus is not a joke. Before this, my sister was 100% healthy, 15-year-old girl, always wore her mask, never took it off in public. This still managed to happen. I mean, I don't know whether it is... It is hard to lie with the statistics that nearly 100% of the people vaccinated or dying are unvaccinated. Do you think that is resonating? That's part of...
No, I have neighbors with whom it's not resonating. I'll just get the antibodies. If I go through the symptoms, I'll be fine, and then my antibodies will help me. Nope, you're not a magic person from planet disillusionment.
Right. Well, Carlos, these couple of stories in the New York Times, this one about the variant, the United States is at a crossroads. We really are, again, in the pandemic. The country may again see overflowing hospitals, which we are in some places, exhausted healthcare workers, thousands of needless deaths. The more contagious Delta variant may be getting the blame, but fueling the rise is an older, more familiar foe, vaccine hesitancy. You and I have been talking about this for years, Carlos. With a wider swath of the population vaccinated, there would be no resurgence of the Delta variant or Alpha variant or any other version of the coronavirus. America is one of the few countries with enough vaccines at its disposal to protect every resident, and yet it has the highest rate of vaccine hesitance or refusal of any nation except, guess which one? Russia. Yes.
He's vaccine.
By the way, I didn't even know that. Gamma and Lambda are also waiting in the wings. It's not just the Delta. Okay. So, and who knows what other frightful versions are already flourishing undetected in far corners of the world, perhaps even here in America. Every infected person anywhere in the world offers the coronavirus another opportunity to morph into a new variant. The more infections there are globally, the more likely new variants will arise. The U.S. will be vulnerable to every one of them until it can immunize millions of people who now refuse to get the vaccine. The unvaccinated will set the country on fire over and over again. If the numbers continue to soar, the restrictions that divided the country may return. Workplaces may need to close again, and schools too. Short of a federal mandate or a patchwork of mandates by, as we just talked about, municipalities, hospitals, colleges, businesses, it's hard to see how enough Americans will be immunized to form a buttress against the virus. This is the New York Times, just finishing. And again, here we go. Both sides do not do it, Carlos. Vaccinations in counties that voted for Trump lag behind those in counties that voted for Biden.
What?
The gap has only widened from 2 percentage points in April to nearly 12 points now. Nationwide, 86% Democrats have had at least one shot compared to 52% of Republicans.
We're better. We just are.
Yeah.
We're just naturally more empathetic.
Okay, but this is led to this next New York Times piece that Chris commented on about anger. As coronavirus cases resurge around the country, many inoculated Americans are losing patience with vaccine holdouts who they say are neglecting a civic duty or clinging to conspiracy theories and misinformation, even as new patients arrive in emergency rooms and the nation renews mask advisories. The country seems to be exiting the pandemic. Barely a month ago, a sense of celebration was palpable. Now many of the vaccinated fear for their unvaccinated children, worry they are at risk themselves for breakthrough infections. Rising cases are upending plans for school and workplace reopenings, threatening another wave of infections that may overwhelm hospitals in many communities. I mean, you've got kids.
I've got kids. It's very frightening.
This is what concerns me. How are you feeling about the fall?
We had a scare. I hung out with somebody that doesn't get vaccinated, and we went out, and then they tested positive, and we're like, oh, crap. So now everybody in the family had to go get tested. My daughter was very emotional about it.
How old are your kids?
But it's a real scare. It's a real possibility that because I definitely should not have put our family at risk by hanging out with that person. Fortunately, it was all mostly outdoors and nobody tested positive. But it puts a strain. What you do if you're not getting vaccinated, if you're not wearing masks, it's exponential. We've stated this over and over. It's not just about you.
Right.
What do you mean? I'm American. It's always about me. Right. My freedom too. I'm going to do what I want. That's a baby.
Yeah.
Getting vaccinated.
Carlos, how old are your kids?
They are 10 and 7.
10 and 7.
So they can't be vaccinated.
So you
yet.
must feel the rage we feel. I can only imagine yours compounded. Is not just yourself. It is you are responsible for the lives of people that cannot get vaccinated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The rage I feel, that's why I always direct it at the Susan Sarandons and the Jimmy Dores of the world. What are you doing going on Tucker Carlson if you're not going on there to tell people to get vaccinated and not believe this idiot?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Idiots,
Susan Sarandon.
I have
kids.
kids.
No, she was using her energy for good. She was using her energy the other day to protest AOC because...
Well, they're little boy. Hey, Susan Sarandon, if you don't like what AOC is not able to do, why don't you run for office?
Right.
You're a phony. Because
God.
that would have to make you come face to face with pragmatism and reality. Instead, you want to just be this provocateur. Get out of your 1.7 million apartment in Manhattan and run for office.
That's
Oh
more
my
than
God,
1.7
Carlos! In the
million.
middle of this
So
worldwide
that's where
pandemic,
my rage is.
yeah, I'm already so rageful about people that won't get vaccinated, people that deny January 6th or the election result, and then Susan Sarandon uses her considerable energy, to stand with a bullhorn at AOC's office and say the crowd is losing hope in her. I'm here to say to the squad, especially AOC, who did like Kamala promises, that we still have faith in you. We'd like to see you have a better plan than we've been able to see. Please share it. If there's a pathway you've got we're not aware of, please share it, because we're losing hope here that you represent us. Really?
Yeah.
Shut the up. Shut all the way the up until you reach the top of Shut Mountain, where there are
As the late Barney Franks used to say.
Shut.
This is why
Barney
we're
Frank
where
used
we
to say-
are, because Hillary Clinton wasn't good enough.
Right, exactly. We tried to tell you. A wave of stupid was coming. And here's the thing. The mood or the temperament of people who say, you're vote shaming me, is exactly the same as the people who won't get vaccinated and wear masks. It's my right to make a crappy decision after a primary, which has no binding. It's my right to pretend that my actions have no consequences. I want my Don Quixote armor, and I want to shout at windmills, even if it affects you.
Yeah.
It's the exact same temperament.
Yeah.
They're babies.
And we're going to okay. Oh, and William from Alabama. We're going to talk about some of the deedly people. No, because he is. I got a hate letter from him. It's not really hate. It's love hate.
Oh.
But
Okay.
no, and this New York Times covers this too, is a lot of people that are stuck in unvaccinated red states that are blue people.
Yep.
So they're just as angry as we
Yeah.
are. We'll talk about all that. 21 minutes.